What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Eighth Groove Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Rivas. We got Drew Lowe in the house, co-host. What's going on, Drew?
Just continuing the fire, ready to go,
That's so funny
ready to
because
rock.
we got episode 3 coming at you live, and the title is My Fire is Untouchable. What does that mean, Drew?
It means that I'm
For context, Drew just said this to me after we hopped off the phone. He had no idea that that was going to be the topic of the podcast. He had no idea that was the name of the podcast. And that's how we're gonna roll. And then I want to get his what that means, if you could break that down a little bit, and we're gonna get into how you can ignite your fire and keep your fire climbing, keep it hot, stoke that fire and keep growing that fire, let that fire spread. Yeah, of your golf game improving and getting to the next level from wherever you are.
I think it means that my immersion in the game and how deep I'm diving into really trying to understand all facets of the game.
That ring of fire. You're going down, down, down. The flames got hot. You're not Johnny Cash song?
Yeah, that's
You're going
that's what
down.
it's like. That's what
When
it's
when you
like.
said the immersion, like fully immersed, submersed in the game, you're going down, 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 and you're just that ring of fire is getting hotter, and as you pull on the thread, you start to unravel more and more and get more understanding. So you're talking more on like fundamentals, how the game is played and the nuances, your fire, understanding the game and breaking the game down, and that's
Really trying to become masterful in this environment. Trying to
what's this
be
environment? Like what kind of environment is that? Is that like a not on the golf course setting or like in life and like your
anything to
your
relate to golf. Anything golf, just pure
golf awareness to like the highest level to the like a not like a mad scientist.
I'm not gonna say a philosopher, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, no, but I'm trying to yeah, I think we're on the right path
that
here.
style, like um
Understanding. Yeah,
the
it is
Plato's,
it is a little bit it is a like a philosophical but
the
like actually
Aristotle's, that style of
the
uh
Aristotles and the Socrateses and the
exactly,
what about
exactly.
the Thomas Edison and the I think Michelangelo maybe is too artsy. I don't think we're like art. I don't
Yeah,
think
but it's the same concept. It's the same thing of like Mozart and his topic and Van Gogh and his artwork. Um,
thinking
that is
like
that is where I
Nikola
want to
Tesla
head.
Nikola Tesla. Am I going? So I'm just
That,
pulling
but
some names,
it's
but
it's
like
that style of it's that style of person, and that understanding is how I want to be in the game of golf, and understanding and being able to be like, this is why. No, this is why, this is why, this is why. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of reasons. It's endlessly complicated, deceptively simple. Um, and my the fire burns, and I'm going to relate it back to Hogan. Hogan says there's no greater fascination than a player learning there's a rhyme and a reason for every shot, and that has had my fire burning for the last 3 years, and I've just turned up the heat, added the oxygen recently.
out of the he's over there stoking the fire with that getting
Yeah.
the that fire burning. So let's chat about like what players can do to ignite their fire, start their fire, or continue to build off their fire. I think most players want to get better. And I know you're talking more on the we're talking more of deep intricacies of golf.
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And when I was thinking about like Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, there's this book, it's called the Short or Brief History of Nearly Everything. It's by Bill Bryson. But there was this like savant that like if you take like tables and line them up. I think it was like miles long, and you put out like I think he puts grains of sand. So imagine tables miles long. It's like, making a similar concept as the galaxy with all the stars and planets. So if you take tables miles long and you put sand over miles and miles and miles, and you take one grain of sand and you move it, the guy in real life, the savant or whatever, would be like, "Oh, it was that grain right there you moved." Yeah, I think that's where you want to get with golf, is what I'm hearing, where you're just like you're so deep into it, the nobody's gonna see or know anything. It's not gonna change, and they may never get the fix. They may never be aware. But I think kind of like that. But
Well, and I think the important part is that's what I'm doing, but how I want to relate it to everyone else is I want to make it known
educate them. Yeah, you
and
want them to be
give.
aware.
I think I personally think it's extremely sad and terrible that I think golf as God's game, as it's a game played in nature. There's not technology. You're playing with a stick and a ball in a forest or a field. That and everything's gotten so expensive, from the technology of the clubs to the golf balls to a
Horses,
glove, your golf bag, a lesson.
golf shoes.
Everything, everything's
You,
so
you need,
expensive in the
you
game,
need a
and
polo, man. You can't play with that shirt. You need a
it,
polo.
that I'm not trying to. I
Yeah,
think that
the barrier entry is so high.
yeah, but I want it. I want everyone, every single person, to have access to how to play the game and
Yeah,
not get caught up in stuff that can be solved at the true core of what I'm trying to draw light to.
you saying not learning to put band-aids on their broken swing, like get down to
Exactly.
the core and build a foundation so they become a solid golfer and things hold up and they know what's going on. Not telling them just hit it off the toe to hit your hook.
It's it's exactly that. And I think the best thing that I'm doing is I'm not even charging anyone. I will go through this and I will tell if there's 33 million people that play golf. All right, let's go. The first 3 million right here. I'm here. Ask your questions. Like that's how influential that I want to become. That I'm not going to charge you $80 an hour to go do it. I love this. This is what I breathe. This is what I do. And if someone's going to take time and take interest, like here I am. Um, let's go. I'm not trying to scam you by teaching you a lesson that's a band-aid. That's how I feel.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
there are good instructors out there. There's a lot of not good instructors out there. That's why someone just talked about how there's too much information.
Well, there's a lot of there's different styles,
Too many theories. Too many theories
Yeah, but what I'll say
that
is
haven't been tested.
I don't know if there's too much information out there. I don't agree with that. What I think they mean to say and they didn't clarify is because I think the obvious thing for me to say is like, oh, there's a lot of bad information out there, but we all know that. And I think my point is like there is a lot of there's a one plane swing, there's a pendulum swing, there's a stack and tilt swing, there's like the normal swing, like so there's all these different types of swings, and I think that if there was just more of the fundamentals, there could be more golf information out there. Like more
Well,
golf information is good as long as like it doesn't contradict and you know what swing you're working on. And if you want to be a stack and tilt golfer, or you want to have a one plane swing, or whatever it is, like okay, but like there could be more golf information. I think there should be more, and it should all be going back to the root of like those core building blocks, those fundamentals, the stuff that is going to help them build their foundation, not put band-aids on their swing. Like, oh, let me give you a drill. Hit the ball off the toe so you can hit a hook. We don't need more information of that. we need like here line up sep uh take your alignment and line up properly so you can be square to your target. Learn how to get your right elbow through into your side through impact and your hands out in front. Like we need more information of that. So there's not too much information, there's just not enough of the good stuff and too much of the
Yeah,
bad stuff, I think is.
there's too many theories that haven't been proven and tested in the ultimate proving ground.
All right, tell us where the ultimate remind everyone where that is
The
because I know.
ultimate proving ground is a major championship.
Yeah, one of the four.
If your theory that you play on holds up and wins a major championship, it's pretty strong, and it could probably be
Right.
taught. But there's too many that haven't. Um,
Do you think somebody could argue, and I'm not saying I agree this like, oh well, they're pros and they work on it every day. I want like a simple swing and I
yeah.
want to just
So
play on the weekends and I just want to or it's like, man, how but if they're winning majors with it, like that sounds like a lot. Do I really need that? Or is it even stronger saying like, well, that's why you should learn it. That's why you're going to get that much better by doing it.
I think that there's one important thing. There's a million different ways to swing the club. Everyone's swing is different. So therefore, trying to swing a certain way off that stat doesn't seem like the best way to approach it. There's one consistency, and it's a starting position. Like most, there's a certain, and to me, a fundamental is a starting position. Anything that you can change at the start, and it just amazingly works its way out that if everything's positioned correctly, you automatically get into the correct position at impact. So that to me is a fundamental. Um,
You don't think people can not be in a correct position if even if they start? Or are you just saying it's harder to?
it's a compensated way, and you won't be consistent. That's whenever you start changing big drastic changes to hit a draw and a fade. A draw and a fade is not big drastic changes. It's 2 degrees.
If everything is fundamentally
Yeah,
sound.
I know, but you have to work to get everything
Otherwise,
fundamentally.
otherwise it's a night and day, man.
Yeah,
I remember
and
when I
it's
was
like that.
first trying
That's
to.
not as consistent.
I got a story for you. Like you went back to the core. It's 2 degrees when you're coming from the inside and you're swinging down the line and you're fundamentally have a solid swing. And then it's okay, my club face is square. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting a linear shot. Now my club face is coming down my line, swinging to my path like it just was, but now it's open at 2 degrees. Now it's gonna hit a fade. Now it's closed. Now it's gonna hit a draw because you have all the other fundamental building blocks in place. Story is so I used to play a cut. Like when I first saw Justin at Monterey Peninsula, I was shooting in the 70s, and he's all right. Let me see some shots. Let me we this is the first time he saw me hit balls on the range. So he's like, all right, like hit that target out there, and it was like 120 or something like that. I don't know, maybe 140, 180, it was 120 to 150 somewhere in there. And I hit it and I hit the target. He's like, okay, good. Let me see a cut. And then I hit a cut, and he's like, okay, good. Now then he's like, all right, let me see you hit a straight shot. He's like, okay, good. Let me see you hit a draw. He's like, I that didn't quite draw. Like it didn't draw at all. He's like, why don't you do it again? And then he's like, I got you. You know, like dead in the water. You can't hit a draw. And so then he showed me basically how to what the club face does, and he worked with me a minute, and then he basically taught me how to hit a draw right then and there, and I was hitting shots, and by like 2 weeks later in a tournament, I had to go around a tree. I had to hook a shot. Never done that in my life on a golf course, and it was like whoa. But what's funny with the stories for you, it's oh 2 degrees. I'm fundamentally sound. You know, like yeah, that's what we want everyone to do, but like most people are not and they put the band-aids on so like when I tried to like swing from the inside where you want like I couldn't do it at one point and he was trying to get me to do it and how he took like and so he'll do things if I'm not getting it he's gonna change something quickly for me to like not just keep like he says you know like we went to the performance studio at Bayonet on the Monterey Peninsula in the performance studio. He's like, here, let's come over to the performance studio. we drive to the side of the range, and it was like this little grass knoll. Just a little he's like, he's like, yeah, this is a performance studio. I was like, I thought we were gonna go to like an indoor state of the art, like, like all the stuff all the facilities he has over access to and stuff. But it was so I could use the hill to stay back behind the ball. And he's like, yeah, if golfers aren't, if you're not getting it, you can't just tell a golfer, hey, try harder. Like let's change something that's a better way to learn it, and then from there you'll get it. So what he did was I couldn't swing down the inside, so he put these baskets, like the when you have your balls there in the basket. He put these baskets in a way, and he said, "Don't hit the basket." And I take this swing, and it was so bad, like like I jarred my back, and he said, like, "Oh man," like he said that looked like it hurt. Like I was like forcing my body to do something, and it was like if he had seen me do it, like it was just like me, you saying, "Oh, it's just 2 degrees," and me trying to like make the move and what I did to like my back to like how bad it was. I think it goes back to like get the
That's fun.
foundation.
Yeah, yeah. It is the foundation, and that's actually funny that you said like trying to change the swing.
Bro, like a really old person when they like do that, it was like all of a sudden that's the move I had tried to do, and it was just so bad, bro.
Well, it just shows that you can't you can't change the swing. You can't make the adjustments in the swing, and um,
Mm,
you definitely can't be efficient at it. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I use this analogy so much. It's my favorite one that I have. If I told you to stand perpendicular to a finish line of a race car race,
Mm.
and you have to take a picture of the photo finish that's coming, and you have to just snap it, one picture, and you have to get it perfectly when the car's hood is touching the finish line, and they're driving 100 miles an hour. Are you going to get it perfect? And it's like, no, you're not. That's why photo
Most of the
finishes
time you're
are
gonna do
are
it.
used with video, and then they're slowed down. So the the answer to that I came up with is when you make these tweaks at the start, you're hitting start on the video. And then these tweaks made at the start allow it to take take action in the swing, come down, matches up, the ball flies well, and you're able to go to the photo finish and pause it and be like, this is where I was at impact. Well, this is the change I made at the start. And then if there's a change you want to make at impact due to the change in ball flight, you adjust the start. So that way you have the video. You can't try to change something live during the swing because you swing at 100 miles an hour, you can't time it up. It's like that picture. You're not going to be consistent with it.
So tying it back to like the beginning, focusing on lines, start, setup is a way people can continually build their fire.
That's that's what Hogan talks about is there's no greater feeling than understanding that there's an answer for the ball flight. And the only way you find the answer for the ball flight is to focus on your setup because that's the only way you know you're changing and controlling a variable that's accurate. You can't accurately change and control a variable moving at 100 miles an hour. So your fire ignites when you lose sight of anything swing and just take your free swing and start changing around your starting position to result in different ball flights.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
that's
like
what I'm saying. And I'll tie it back to what I said about that's my mission is to get everyone to start thinking on that path rather than thinking on the swing path or not the swing path
yeah, I
the
got you.
changing the
It's
swing.
no pun
um
intended.
yeah. And
The swing, like correcting your magical perfect swing is gonna get you there versus
i
getting
I
perfect and
wish there would
accurate.
be a way for me to live like track the graph. But if I was to play out how I want my life to go, the more people that start focusing on setup. So right now it's like here, setup and swing. The more people that start focusing on setup, the more the scores go from
So
94. and they start dropping.
So
And then
what yeah, yeah. And then well, go ahead.
as soon as everyone ditches swing and starts focusing on setup, it'll be the 85-79 average score.
So what can we tell people when they say, I'm working on my setup and my setup is good, but I'm not seeing the results?
Your setup's not good. It's
Well,
not. You
let's say
think
that it is good. Let's say it is good. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. For the
the
people,
results are there.
that's
That is
that's
what a
it.
fundamental is.
That's it. Like,
Yeah,
so we could put anybody in a
anybody.
fundamental without
As
playing
long,
golf and they're going to be good.
obviously, I've said this in the past. There are some swing stipulations,
All right,
such
fair
as
enough.
your arc has to stay a consistent length. Yes, as long if your arc stays a consistent length and you're not completely a spastic
Don't you think?
movement of the body,
Yeah.
yeah, anybody.
Don't you think though, like if it was just as easy to set up, people would be better, or people would be setting people up better? Because I bet you if you went and put somebody on the range now, perfectly set up, they wouldn't be like magically better.
Absolutely.
But I know if you get them set up perfectly, they will improve over time. And that's kind of my message. Like
Well,
nobody's gonna be like, hey, I set up better on my chips, I set up better on my full swing, and I'm a scratch golfer now. I mean, it was tough shooting 92, but I set up now. I'm good. Like I
I
think
think so. That doesn't get you down to the seven. That doesn't get you down to the scratch golfer. That gets you to the
okay.
79. That's why I said the lowest is 79. I didn't say 72. I didn't
Okay,
say
that's a
70.
good. So you think and
If you set up right,
yeah,
you hit the ball in play and you are in control over your ball, meaning you're getting the ball in play off the tee and on the green. All you have to do is two putt, which you have to put in time on the short stuff. You automatically shoot 79. You're going to drop those 77 shots because you don't get up and down a couple times. If you fundamentally set up, you're hitting 12 greens around, 10 to 12. Yes. Ball strikers hit 10 to 12 greens
no,
around.
I'm listening.
And,
That's not where my
and
rebuttal's. I have a rebuttal.
um,
It's not right there. I'm
sorry,
not gonna argue how
sorry.
many greens they're gonna hit.
Um,
That
you
would be
will
a never-ending argument.
you will get to that 79. And I know that's true because the amount of people I've sat with on the range and just me loving the game, like see someone that's like close, like easy fix. If there's someone that's a lot of fixes,
Preston.
I'll if I'm really feeling good, I'll try to hit one of the biggest one. But if someone's like super close, that's like just I start smiling instantly because I know like this person's about to light up because they didn't know they could hit the ball this well. And then
Yeah,
I'll be like, hey,
it's
you need to
pretty close.
make this little tweak.
Yeah,
A lot of times it's the best when it's the shoulder. Like, hey, everything else is really good. Bring the shoulder right on line. Boom, flush golf shot. Ever had biggest smile they've ever seen. Makes me feel the biggest smile I've ever had. Like that is the greatest feeling. And then I'll sit there with them and they'll hit 10 in a row, 12 in a row, 15 in a row. Like, what in the world is going on? The
yeah, it's
next time I see them,
special to
it's
see.
like completely different. So here's what I'll say.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get to the.
Anyone that has a their swing falls in the parameters of their arc stays a consistent length the whole time. I will help anyone. All you have to do is reach out to me. I will spend the time with you. I will watch you. The more times you do it, the better you will get because you don't get into the position on your own. Not like you do if someone's sitting there saying
Oh
more,
yeah,
more, more,
yeah,
more.
yeah, 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 yeah. You
The
need.
amount of times I've told someone like you need to keep coming, more, more,
Yeah, yeah.
more, 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 and they back away like there's no way, and I'm like, you got to trust me on this. More, 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 more. Flush.
Bingo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They need to out. It's such a
It.
uncomfortable
I.
feeling, an
It's.
unnatural
This
feeling.
is what I'm putting my whole, all of my energy is. What is that?
Yeah, like it's such an uncomfortable feeling. We had
You
a
there?
lag. The connection lagged. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we had a connection lag. So, but no, I was just saying, yeah, it's such an uncomfortable feeling. They're not going to get there on their own majority of the times. So they need that outside expert advice to, or those expert pair of eyes
Ha
to confirm.
yeah, having guidance is most definitely needed. But the day and time we're in today, we all have smartphones. We all have access to a camera and to a video. And what's even better is there's this global golf community called the Golf Games that you have access to. Take a video of your swing from face on. Post your swing in the Golf Games. High probability, go work on it. High probability, your game improves.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say like,
And the more you post your video. If someone was to post a video every single day, that I think that should be a case study. Anyone like, hey, 30 days in a row, post your swing. We'll tweak it every single day. How's your game in 30 days?
I think that's a lot.
100% guarantee your game will improve. I would stop golf altogether if someone's game didn't. That's how confident I am in it. Like it's a what is it? Like 2 plus 2 equals what? That's what a fundamental in golf is. That's what a setup is. Like 2 plus 2 is never equaled five.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, working on the fundamentals and getting set up is going to improve. But I do want people to also know like putting putting the consistent time in, like consistently practicing with that.
The saying that I was told is you can teach someone to hit the shot in 10 minutes. How good you get at hitting that shot is up to you.
Yeah,
So
like
you can sit there and know all the fundamentals, work on them, and you don't ever
yeah.
spend the time in doing them. It doesn't ever pay off.
Yeah, and you need your checks though. Like, consistently checking, having somebody either take a look or repost your videos to the platform is really important. But I'm trying to like go, okay, how can we keep people's fires burning or ignite their fire who are stuck? And I do agree. It comes back to the fundamentals, the setup, the grip, just being aware of your golf game. Some people, if they have a shot, like if like some people, if they just knew their numbers better and didn't overswing, I think that would help a lot of people. That's a big one. I know we've talked on. Just learning
It's
how to
almost
make
like
putts.
it stems back to result though. Like, got, no, I don't think it's in human nature to want to be bad, like to like the feeling of not executing. I don't think that's human
Yeah, I
nature.
think it's the ego of like trying to like make the most out of the club and the shot and swing as hard and it feels so
Yeah.
good and like
So
ooh, like hitting
which
something
brings into
hard.
the mental game. Like there is mental
Yeah,
intangibles of like, hey, don't hit your pitching wedge 160, hit it 130. Um,
lob wedge included.
yeah, I mean you can gap it from there,
Yeah.
but it's like taking that approach is like, well, I want to hit it far. Well, you also get mad when you don't hit it straight. So hit it short and straight and be happy, and then hitting it far and sideways and being mad.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So I guess learning to make putts from 5 feet and in and get dialing in your pace, making sure your speed's good. You have a good bump and run at least, like you can control the distance on your bump and run. That stuff with setting up, I think just working on those things and spending time consistently and if you can do those things over time and you're okay with the process and doing that over time, I think that's how people will ignite their fire. I think what it is people like how do I get my fire burning hot or high or it's like everybody starts with a spark and it takes
Mm-hmm.
time to like grab kindling and if you work on the right things you say oh the good kindling's here the good wood's over here and you make those paths and now you're adding wood fire you're adding fire to your wood at a faster rate over time because I need to spend the time on these things work on these things and doing the stuff that we're talking about working on it over time is gonna get them to the next level. But I think it needs to start with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like you've said it to me before that golf has a certain thing about it that gets people hooked, similar to jujitsu.
mm,
Um,
drugs.
yeah, just a certain thing about it, and it's very common that golfers usually have what the golf bug, but it's just like it's addicting, and
Yeah, I
it's
ask
just
people I when I meet somebody and like before I like know like the golf games will be perfect for them to learn because I can see they're struggling. You know, and if I'm talking to one guy, they're like, "Hey, you think you could help me?" You know, and so I know the feeling of when you set someone up and they crank on your, they're like, "Oh my God," you know. I
yeah.
want to bring it back because I know that feeling. It's really cool. And then they're like, "Hey, you helped my buddy the other day." You know, can you? I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So that feeling is really cool. But so I ask people, "You hooked yet?" Oh yeah, you know. Like, oh, you know, like, you know, their eyes almost roll back. They're like, yeah, man, like I don't even ask, are you? I like, are you hooked yet? Like, is it happened? And they're like, yeah. So yeah, it has that quality for
But
sure.
I guess to your fire is ignited when you start loving the game. Like when you start to understand, like,
Yeah.
you know, I really have to do more of this game to get better at this game.
Mm.
Obviously, each person has a different talent that makes their start. Um, some people start out maybe shooting a 110 versus some people
Yeah.
start out shooting
But
120 versus
they're all struggling. They're all
yeah.
gonna be bad. Like,
But
there's no way
it's like
around
the
it.
more
It's
the
not
more
about,
time you do it, the more you get addicted to the feeling of succeeding. Like, oh,
yeah.
I just shot 110 my first time out. I've been hitting some putts. Well, now I shot 106. Well, that's nice. Let me see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit chips all week and putt all week. Well, now I shot 102. Man, I was so close to shooting under 100. I'm gonna hit more chips. I'm gonna hit more putts. 98. Probably be more like 96. Uh,
Yeah, hey, so we talked about quality and quantity, and so I heard this saying or this quote. It's I think it's by Napoleon because we've always talked about quality, quantity. It's quantity has its own quantity. Let's see, there. Oh man, I'm forgetting it, but it's like I think it's with quantity. There its own has its own quality, or there's its own quality in quantity. Quantity creates its own quality. There it is. Quantity creates its own quality, I believe. Can you find it?
yeah. Quantity has a quality of its own.
Okay, and so I said
Yeah,
the
the
meaning is
same thing.
say it again.
The quantity has a quality of its own.
So quantity creates its own quality would be my quote then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's like really good because it's its own thing. Like you can't get to that quality without the quantity. If you want that really quality, it's only created through quantity.
Through quantity. Yeah,
And
that's really
then
good.
yeah,
That will really get. I think just doing it more gets someone's fire going. And if you do it more and you don't like it, you're like, this is boring. This sucks. Golf's not for you.
yeah, what
Maybe just
happens
go
is
out and enjoy your time in nature, but
no,
don't
but
definitely
I
don't get mad.
I think what happens when people do more, they start liking it more because they get better.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
when you start at anything, you're generally bad for a lot of things, and it's hard and it's a struggle, and maybe you don't even like it. Like certain things you might have to do in life, but as you get better by doing more and upping the quantity, the quality goes up, you get better, and then you end up liking it more. You have a better experience with it. So like golf just gets more fun the better. I'd say the better you get. I know Justin says, well, the better you get, the better the competition gets, you know? So then it's like never, but not talking about competition, just like flushing shots, hitting good, playing good golf. The better, the better your rounds are, like generally, the more fun you're having out there.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's whenever it becomes like more competitive with yourself because you have less errors that you have to deal with. You know, you get to when you start talking about shooting numbers under par, you're really only playing with 3 to 5 errors. You know, seven errors maximum. You know, if you start
Well,
making if
what
you
what
start making more than 7 errors, your number is going to
what
start
really
creeping
matters
around.
though, like your strategy, like because what do you define as an error?
An
I think
error is going to be a an error is going to be a dropped shot. If you
so.
lose a
What's drop
shot, that's
shot?
a drop shot's going to be a penalty,
Okay.
and missing a short putt, blowing in easy up and down.
Mm, see, I think we have to. I think there's a good argument there. We can miss a short putt for birdie. We can knock it up and down for birdie on a short par five, and we can hit a penalty shot and get up and down to make a par.
So you made all pars. So that's why I was saying when you start shooting under par, you only have this amount
Yeah,
of errors to work with,
but
or
we
you're
can.
back over. You can
But what
shoot
you
under
said was you gave a number. You gave like up to seven, where you can do a
if
lot
you're
more
someone who's going to
down.
walk out there and make 9 errors, drop 9 shots, and still shoot under par. You played the best golf you could play that day. You just made a couple bad mistakes because now you're start talking about 10 birdies around,
Right, right. I
11
guess.
birdies around.
Well, my point was um, I guess like to drop a shot. You mean making a bogey? Because in all you
No,
said
no, no, no,
you
no. I'm saying if you drop a shot, like if you miss a short putt for birdie, like that's still a drop shot. Because
but
I'm talking about we're
because
sprinting.
you could do that all day long. Because you gave the seven that you gave you can only do about seven. But if I'm doing all the stuff I said, not getting up and down on a par five to make your birdie, missing the birdie putt, hitting it in the hazard and taking a drop penalty, but getting up and down for a par five to make your par, you could do more than seven and still shoot under par. That's why I think like
How?
by
That's but what I'm saying is if you that's what you start saying taking 7 drop shots. Can you shoot 65 with 7 drop shots?
no, but I don't. We just said
Okay.
shoot under par. You
Yeah.
didn't do
If
60.
you have 7 drop shots, you're not going to shoot under 70. You're definitely not shooting 68. And if you did, if you did, that was your course record day.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Like
I think if my point is if you eliminate those shots to those circumstances, you can drop more than you can hit bad shots and make the word you said was what was it? You said like if hit not penalties what'd you
an
say?
error.
Yeah, if, something like that. Like, yeah, if, mistakes. I think you use the word
Yeah.
mistakes. So what I'm saying is like you can make mistakes. My whole point is you can make more seven or more and still shoot under pars if you make the mistakes in the right areas, like by not going OB, by by making a mistake when you go to lay up, you make a mistake, but because you had good strategy, you're still in
No, no,
play.
no. So your mistake is a miss. My mistake and my error is not a miss because a golf round is nothing but a string of misses. What I'm saying is your miss cannot fly out of bounds, and your miss cannot fly in the water, and your miss cannot be when you're super close to the hole, and your miss cannot be whenever 2 shots is not hard to do. It has to be in two. Those are drop shots. Now misses happens all the time. You can miss and it be a foot from in play out of bounds. You're fine. That's not a drop shot because you can recover and get up and down and make par and move on. You're not shooting under par with more than 7 mistakes. Like that's just a general rule. If you do, congratulations, you played extremely well that day. Like that's the base of that. The if you're not shooting, you're definitely not breaking course records with more than 7 mistakes.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll put it there. Guys, remember, pick a target, swing at your target, keep your club face square, your head back, and your hands out in front.
Eighth groove.